Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I'm actually going to be doing a tag video, and this is an original book tag that I created myself, and this is in honor of Vampire Diaries, which Vampire Diaries just came back this past Friday. And this is the 8th and final season of Vampire Diaries, which I'm kind of sad about, but I'll get through it. At least I'm trying. So, in honor of the final season of Vampire Diaries, I decided to create a Vampire Diaries book tag. I was actually looking for a tag like this on YouTube, but I couldn't find one, so I decided to just create one. So yeah, this is the Vampire Diaries book tag. There are 10 questions. Some of them are pertains to the show in general. Some of them are more character specific. But yeah, let's get right into it. So the first question is love triangle. So Vampire Diaries is pretty much known for its iconic love triangle with Damon, Stefan, and Elena. That's pretty much how the show got started. The premise was two vampire brothers in love with the same human girl. So, question number 1 is book or series with the best love triangle. So for this one, I'm going with The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. You guys know I typically do not like love triangles in books. They annoy me. But Cassandra Clare did an amazing job with this love triangle in Infernal Devices. Because Will and Jem, I love them both. But I do love Will just a little bit more. And I really want Tess with Will, so I love Will just a little bit more. But both guys are awesome, amazing, and yeah, if there was ever a good love triangle, it would be Infernal Devices. Question number 2 is, there's more to a villain. So, with Vampire Diaries, we all know that the villains on the show are so complex and there's so much more to them. Just like there was with Damon and just like there was with Klaus. You know, you may hate them at first, but then once you get to know them, you realize that there's so much more to them, and you actually kind of like them, even though they're sort of the villain of the story at the moment, but you end up kind of liking them. So, question number 2, there's more to the villain. Pick a villain that is complex. They may come off as evil at first, but there's more to them, and you can't help but root for them a little bit. So that's what this question is. I am going with Death or Alaric from the Endless Night, the Arcana Chronicles series. He first shows up in Endless Night, and he is the death card. His real name is Alaric, and yeah, he is pretty much the villain of this book at first, and you really don't know why he's so, like, in this one, he's, like, so bent on killing Evie, and you really don't know why until, like, later on. But, yeah, there's a lot more to him, and when you find out his backstory, you can't help but feel like, oh, I feel bad for you. He's kind of like Klaus in that way. It's like, you know, you're evil, but there's more to you, and I kind of feel bad for you. So, yeah, I'm going with depth for this question. Question number 3 is best plot evolution. So with Vampire Diaries, we kind of know that even though the show pretty much started off with Damon and Elena and Stefan and this love triangle between the three of them, the show evolved to so much more than that. There's so much that happened in the show and so much evolution that happens in the plot. So question number 3, best plot evolution. So pick a book or series that, the plot just evolved into more than what you originally had thought it was going to be. I'm going to go with the Mara Dyer series by Michelle Hodkin. This it starts off with Mara, really just trying to, she's got like missing pieces of time where she can't really remember what happened to her. She was in this accident at the beginning of the book. Her and her friends were in an asylum, just goofing around, and there was an accident, pretty much killed all of her friends, and Mara comes out unscathed, but she doesn't really remember what happened that night, and ever since then, kind of strange things has been happening to her, and so that's kind of how this book starts off, but by the end of the trilogy, it goes completely somewhere else. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Mara Dyer for plot evolution. So, question number 4 is best of friends. So, on Vampire Diaries, there are a ton of great friendships on the show between Elena and Bonnie and Caroline, and just all the characters in general, Matt and Stefan and Damon. So this question is best of friends. So pick a book or series that showcase really great friendships. So of course a lot of people will probably pick this one, this book for this question, but for best of friends, I have to go with the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, because Hermione, Ron, and Harry are just such great friends, and then even with Luna and Neville and, all the other characters in here, I just love the friendships that are made in this series. So, yeah, if you want a book with really awesome friendships, can't go wrong with Harry Potter. Next question is character growth. So, obviously on the show on Vampire Diaries, all of the characters go through a lot that really helps them to grow and develop as characters. And so, for this question, pick a character that has a lot of character growth. They've gone through a lot, and it's really changed them. Sophie from the School for Good and Evil series. I think Sophie actually grows a lot in not just this first book, but also in the second book. I've only read the first 2 books. I need to finish the third one. But I do feel like her character has grown a lot. She was kind of shallow at first in the beginning, but I think she, because of the changes that she goes through when she gets to the school, it's changed her and helped her development progress. So I'm going to say Sophie. The next question is actually a character question. So next is Matt Donovan. So as we know, Matt Donovan is from Vampire Diaries is a character who's been on the show since the beginning, and against all odds, he's still here. He's still alive. He is probably the only character on this show who's been here since day one and is still alive and not a vampire. Everyone else is either dead or a vampire. And yet, he's still here and still human. So he has survived against all odds. So this question, Matt Donovan, pick a character who has survived against all odds. So this is a character who should not have lived by any means, but somehow they have. So, of course, I'm sure lots of people are going to pick this, but for this one, I'm going with Katniss from the Hunger Game trilogy, because this girl, she is the Matt Donovan of literature. I don't know how, but 2 Hunger Games and a rebellion later, she should not be alive, but somehow she still is, and she's still kicking butt. So, character who survived against all odds, Katniss Everdeen. Apparently, the odds are always in her favor. Next question is also another character question, and this is Bonnie Bennett. It's so funny because Stefan said that in this first episode, the first episode of season 8, he's talking to Bonnie and he says, no one, not Caroline, not Elena, no one knows how to fight longer and harder than you. And that is so true. So for this question, it's a character that keeps on fighting no matter what's thrown at them. They'll fight longer and harder, and they'll just keep going and won't give up. Again, I'm going to go with a kind of popular, obvious choice. I will have to say Harry Potter from the Harry Potter series. He keeps on fighting. 7 books fighting Voldemort. Not once has he given up. And he just keeps on going, keeps on fighting. Every book, he'll keep on fighting Voldemort. So, yeah. Character that keeps on fighting? Harry. And, of course, Ron and Hermione. Because, of course, they're going to be right there with Harry. So, next question is Alaric. So, this is a character who has suffered a lot of loss in their life. As we know, Alaric suffered so much. He's lost so much, and I feel so bad for him. So, this is a character who has suffered and lost a lot in their life. So, I've actually picked 2 for this question, as I think both of these characters have suffered a lot of loss in their lives. So, the first one I'm going to talk about is Cassie from the 5th Wave trilogy. Cassie has suffered a lot of loss in her life. She, when the 5th wave comes, she kind of loses her pretty much almost her whole family, and so she has suffered a lot of loss, not knowing who to trust, who she can trust, who's good, who's not. So she suffered a lot of loss, especially early on. So I'm gonna go with Cassie. So another character who I think suffered a lot of loss, I'm going to say Lissa from the Vampire Academy series. Lissa pretty much loses her whole family. And this isn't a spoiler because this happens even before the first book, but she pretty much lost her entire family in this accident, and she is the only one left in her line, her family line. And so Alyssa has suffered a lot of loss in her life, and so I pick her for this question as well. Next question is Lexi. So this is a character you would bring back from the dead if you could. And I love Lexi. I wish I could bring her back. She did come back for like one episode, but I wish we could have kept her. Anyway, so this is a character from any book or series that has died, but you really wish you could bring them back. So, just fair warning right now, there's gonna be some spoilers for City of Glass from the Mortal Instruments series, and for Divergent. So if you have not read at least City of Glass, and if you haven't finished the Divergent trilogy, I'd probably skip watching my answers to these because there's going to be some spoilers. For a character that I'd want to bring back, I'm going to say Max from the Mortal Instruments series, City of Glass. I was completely heartbroken when Sebastian killed Max, and it was so unexpected for me, and I felt like it came out of nowhere, and I was just like, what just happened? Totally heartbroken, because I really liked Max, and especially because, he was a little kid. He was an innocent little kid. I was sad about his death. So if I could bring back any character, I would for sure bring back Max. And I actually have another character that I would bring back. Tress Pryor. I could not believe, Allegiant, the end of Allegiant, when she died. I was just like, what are you doing, Veronica Roth? You can't kill the main character. They're the main character for a reason. You can't kill them. They deserve a happy ending. But sadly, Triss did not get that happy ending because Veronica Roth, you killed her, you crushed me. If I could bring back any character, I'd bring back Triss, because, yeah, she didn't deserve that. And the last question, the final question, is unlikely couple. So as you know, in Vampire Diaries, there are some pretty unlikely couples on this show. I mean, Matt and Rebecca, and then there was Bonnie and Enzo this last season. Did not see that one coming at all. But, the more we kind of see their story and how they fell in love, the more it's like, okay, I can kind of get behind that. So, this is unlikely couples that, kind of like Bonnie and Enzo, you were kind of like, where did that come from? But then, as you saw the progression of the relationship, you're kind of like, okay, I can maybe get with that. I get behind that. So, unlikely couples. So, for this one, for unlikely couple or OTP, I'm gonna say one that I know a lot of people are probably gonna be like, what? But they're so great together. Okay, but I did not like them together at first. by the end of the series, I was kind of like, okay, whatever, they're together. But it's not who I would have picked. And that is Katniss and Peeta from the Hunger Games. I know, everybody loves Peeta. I still like Gale. So, call me crazy, but I like Gale. So, yeah, I'm going with Katniss and Peeta for this one, for Unlikely Couple, because, you know, they're one that I was kind of like, no, don't really see them together. But by the end of the third book, obviously, they're together, so it's kind of like, okay, I guess they're not that bad. Could be worse, I suppose. So, going with them for Unlikely Couple. That is the Vampire Diaries book tag. And I'm not going to tag anyone specifically, but I will tag you if you want to do this video. Go ahead and do this video. And if you do this video, leave a link to your video down below in the comments. So I would love to check them out and see what your responses to these questions are. And yeah, that's it. I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye.